Well, good morning and welcome to Goodison Park for Everton's third round tie against Rotherham United here at Goodison Park. And it's Everton Live and it's Sarah Halpin. How are you doing, Sarah?
I'm very cold, Rich, to be honest with you, mate.
Freezing, isn't it?
It is. We were just saying, is it the coldest Motson coats out though? Yeah, I have. I've gone all out channeling my inner John Motson today, but it's a very frosty one at Goodison, isn't it?
It is. It's a freezing one. There is just a little layer of cold, damp morning dew on the pitch, so it's not frozen, which the players will be glad to hear. I mean, I can't talk about you, Sarah, but my hands are absolutely ice cold at the moment. So if you do hear us shattering our teeth, that is because of the weather, trust me.
I lost feeling in them about half an hour ago, I'll be honest with you there, Rich, but it's always a pleasure to be here though, isn't it?
Well, hopefully we can get warmed up by a good result on the pitch. We won't talk about our last game, but we will talk about today, FA Cup, third round. We're just hoping there isn't an upset today, aren't we?
Oh, well, that's the main thing, isn't it? You've got to get through, and obviously Rotherham, a league below, struggling at the moment. On paper, everyone's expecting us to go through, and I do think we will. But yeah, you've just got to get that result done, get into the next round, and look forward to hopefully a really strong cup run this season.
Well, that's it, isn't it? It's all about the results in the FA Cup. But how much would it mean to Everton to win a trophy after not winning one for so long?
Oh, we've got to, haven't we? Obviously, the bitter disappointment of the Manchester United game a few weeks ago, we can put that to the back of our heads if we get through today and have a good cup run. And ultimately, yeah, it's not about getting a cup run, it's about bringing the silverware home, and how great it would be to see Carlo Ancelotti do that with the boys.
Oh, absolutely. Well, hopefully we'll see that in a few hours' time. This is what we've got coming up today on Everton Live. So when the players arrive, we'll show you the footage of that, and then shortly afterwards, 11 a.m. team news. Oh, a ridiculous time to get the team news. Such an early kick-off today. We'll then have highlights from when we beat Rotherham here at Goodison a couple of years back. And you may have seen a bit of content on the Everton social channels with a few interviews with the players. That will come later on, as well an interview with Mason Holgate and James Rodriguez. We'll then show you the best goals of the month of December before hearing from Carlo Ancelotti, and then of course kick off at 12 o'clock and you get the live commentary on evertonfc.com. And remember, we do have a special guest with us today. If you want to get any questions to Derek Mountfield, the hashtag is EvertonLive to use over on Twitter. And Derek Mountfield, if you don't know, won a few things with us, scored a few goals, and here is a few of them. Scored a few goals there, Derek.
Well, one or two, yes. Nice memories. Nice to see the old colour pictures. They're normally in black and white.
Well, lovely to see you, and welcome to Goodison Park. Is this the first time you've managed to get into the ground this year, or this
it's
season?
my first day back at Goodison Park for about 2 years, to be honest. I haven't been for about 2 years now, so it's nice to be back. It's strange atmosphere, strange surroundings, but it's a great. I love it. I love it. I'm just looking down, just above the sea on the street end, where was my place as a kid. As a fan watching the club, and then I got onto the pitch, but it's a great stage. I love it.
Yeah, very lucky man, and obviously had lots of success here. FA Cup weekend, third round. I was just saying to Sarah, surely today it's just about getting through to the fourth round draw, isn't it?
Yes, it is. For me, it's the best day of the season for me. I used to love the third round FA Cup ties. That's when the season really started for me. But we've got to get through. We've got to get a cup run. You mentioned a trophy before. It's a long overdue. It's a long overdue. We've now got a manager who now has, for me, the right emphasis on where we need to be and where we need to go. And I think if he gets it right, which I'm sure he will do, we've got a chance over the next, maybe not this year, over the coming years to push on and start getting some silverware, because we are long overdue some trophies in our cabinet.
So should we put out the best team available today just to minimise that risk of an upset happening?
I always think you should do. I'd rather put the strongest team out and get a good lead and then bring some of the youngsters on, instead of starting with the youngsters struggling and then try to get back and then get throwing the bigger hitters on. But we understand now that it's a squad formation, it's a squad game now, so the players are going to get rested quite often. So we know that Pickford, Calvert-Lewin and Richarlison aren't playing today. So will it be Tosin up front? We don't know. Whoever plays has got to put a performance in. We've got to get through this and not make it hard work. And that's the problem with the FA. That's the beauty of the FA Cup. It's all about, there's no seeding, it's the luck of the draw. There's a massive game tomorrow at Marine, which I think is fantastic. That's the FA Cup for you. But Rotherham will come here looking to get a result. They'll know that we've had a couple of indifferent performances recently. They'll come here confident they can get a result, but we've just to be better than them. We are better than them. We're a bigger team. We're a better club. We have to be better than Rotherham today. And I can see us winning comfortably if the attitude and the application is spot on.
Well, that's it. I mean, Rotherham are struggling down the bottom end of the Championship. Is it going to be hard for the players to get into that right mindset for today? I mean, when you were playing, presumably you played against sides in lower divisions, and it's a different kind of mindset you've got to have for a league game compared to a cup match.
Yeah, we played Telford in the FA Cup in '85 after we won it in '84, and they were a non-league side. There was 50,000 here, and it was 0-0 for 60 minutes. But we kept playing and kept playing. We won the game 3-0 on the end. You don't have to score goals early. It's the score after 90 minutes that counts. And if we're not getting the goals, we keep working, keep plugging. But the FA Cup is for me is the greatest club competition in the world. It's something unique about this. I said before, there's no seedings. It's the luck of the draw, and we've seen big teams go out at home and away in when they shouldn't do because they haven't been focused on the job. In our change room, Duncan Ferguson won the FA Cup. If he's not telling the players the importance of this competition and what it's like to get to Wembley and to win it, it's a unique occasion to get to Wembley in this competition. It's brilliant. It's absolutely superb. And I think Duncan will making sure the players are in the right focus today, because some of the players in this club haven't never been near a final, never been near a semi-final, and it's a different atmosphere, different feeling getting that far. And I think today's a good learning curve for some of our players to see how they handle the situation. Because we go here as fan favourites today, and that can hinder some people's performances. It's going to be too easy. It's never easy. Get your attitude right from the minute one.
And coming off the back of the defeat against West Ham last year, surely these players will be wanting to right that wrong immediately, you'd imagine?
Well, after the West Ham game, which was atrocious, really, we just never got going, and that just shows you how it can happen in football. You might have the best preparation, but you don't start well, and we didn't start well. Against Man United, we didn't start well. I mean, you don't start well, the other team get on the front foot. And with no crowd here, if we'd had 38,000 good Everton fans here, it might have been different. We might have rallied and come back into the game. But with no crowd here, it's a different atmosphere. Teams come here not as intimidated by the atmosphere now because it's empty.
Yeah.
I think that happens. We've got to start well today. If we start well, it'll be easy. If we don't start well and let them get the foot in the game, it could be quite tricky for us.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think this season there's been more away wins in the Premier League than any other season in the history of the competition. Will Rotherham be thinking that it's a level playing field, considering there'll be no fans here?
I think they'll come here quite confidently. I don't think they'll have any fears at all. They'll look at the stadium and they'll go, look at all those seats. You're playing in front of seats today, not fans. Yeah, they're struggling in their league, but it's a one-off game today. It's a one-off game. It's got to finish today. So they'll come here going, we'll give it our best shot for 90 minutes. If it goes to extra time, another 30 minutes. Go to penalties, we'll give it our best shot. They'll come here full of confidence, give their best shot today. But I said it's up to Everton, it's up to us as the home team and the Premier League team to set the stall and show them what we are about by starting properly and on the front foot.
Well, yeah. Well, Everton obviously been in great form in the league. We've sat top of the league for some while, been in the Champions League spaces. Yep. There's a lot of teams pushing for the top 4 spots at the moment. How impressed have you been by the Blues in the league this season?
Surprised and impressed. I didn't see us doing what we did early on, but the result at Tottenham, then the next result, and you saw momentum building, and then we're going through throwing 2 poor performances away at Southampton and Tottenham. And it shows you the vulnerability of the club at the team at the moment. We might be playing well, but if we don't start right, we don't perform well. And it happened against Man United and West Ham. And we lost to Leeds here when we should have beaten Leeds. There's games when you think we should be winning that we don't win, and games we shouldn't win that we do win. But that's just football. You understand you can't play well every single game. But what I always say as a former player, and I've done a bit of coaching and management, it's your standard, your level of performance that counts. You can't be playing up there one game and then down the next. You've got to get that nice combination of playing really well and then playing but just below that really well. We don't want to come down to that sloppiness which we've had at times here. Yeah. And that's the problem. It's that overall mentality of starting right, being good, being competitive and being on the front foot. And if we're not on the front foot here at times, we do look a bit sloppy. We do look a bit slack.
Yeah, we do. I mean, over the games against West Ham and Manchester United, it was some pundits were saying that we were lacking creativity. Luca Dean and James Rodriguez have been confirmed that they're back in training and they're fit and available for today. How important do you think they'll be for the rest of the season and keeping them fit?
Well, I think Luca Dean's been a massive miss for us. His energy down the left-hand side and his ability to put on really good crosses was superb. All credit to Ben Godfrey, who's been there for the last 4 or 5 games. He's been outstanding. but when he gets into the final area, he hasn't got the left foot to put the ball in, so he tends to cut back on his right, and we lose the momentum a little bit. But Luca Dean's been a massive mitt for us. James will always be one of these players that flits in, flits out of games. He won't be a 90-minute player. He never has been, he never will be. But when he's on the ball, we always expect something to be created by him, and those two could be very important for the rest of the season. But the same as for Richarlison, who when he's not on his ball, he looks like he's not interested. That attitude doesn't look quite right. But Calvert-Lewin's been outstanding this season. I always said that he was a good striker, but didn't give you the goals. This year he's done that. He's given us the goals. And he's an all-round striker now. He's a good competitor. He works hard. And he's gotten to positions where I didn't see him do 18 months ago. Those little tap-ins he's getting inside between the keeper and the centre half. And that's coming through working with a quality manager and coaching staff. But all over the pitch, we've got to be strong. You know, I'm being impressed with Michael Keane. He's looked stronger. Alan was fantastic. Decore flits in and out sometimes, but when he's on his ball, he's brilliant. You know, Tom Davis has done well the last couple of games. He's looked like he's a little bit better. But we've got to do that every single game. We can't afford to drop our standards like we did for the first 40 minutes against West Ham. We just didn't start. And Man United in the cup, we didn't get going. They could. I don't think we got into the Man United half for 20 minutes. They had so much control of the ball, and that's where we've got to be better. We're the home side. This ground thrives on the crowd. It's an atmospheric ground, and it bounces around, and it must be so strange out there playing with no fans. The only time I played with no fans was in the reserves, and I know what it feels like. But when you're playing top-level football, it must be quite strange not having the fans making some form of noise around you.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you think the conditions will come into effect today? Everyone always says the worst conditions tend to favour the lesser side. Will that really come into fruition today?
I'm looking at the pitch, and the undersoil heating's on. They're now watering it. They won't be watering Marines pitches. That'll just come down as frozen ice tomorrow morning, won't it? The stadium is fantastic. The pitch is great. Rotherham will enjoy coming here. It's a pitch they can play football on if they like to play football. The conditions shouldn't hinder anyone today. It's a perfect pitch to play in. It's a perfect crisp morning. It's not too cold. Yeah, it feels cold holding this metal microphone, but the pitch will be perfect. The ground will be great. The atmosphere will be non-existent. But if the manager's got the player in the right frame of mind, we could have a really good game here today. But Rotherham will come, as I said before, with no worries at all. They'll come in and just try and enjoy the day. I was going to say soak up the atmosphere, but there's no chance of that, is there? But no, they'll come in and they won't be fazed. They won't be worried at all. They'll probably enjoy coming here.
So Carlo Ancelotti is saying that Cenk Tosun's going to get a chance to impress today. Calvert-Lewin's played every minute of the Premier League this season. He's not scored in a few weeks. Are you surprised that he's been dropped? Because you thought Rotherham would probably be a great game for him to find his shooting boots once more.
Not really, no. He's worked hard. He might be a little bit tired. When you're not getting the rest, you do feel it. But saying that, Cenk Tosun needs to prove and show what he possibly can do. We sent out Moise Keane on loan, who couldn't score here, but can score all of a sudden. So Cenk Tosun will work hard. He always works hard, but it's all about, if he gets the service, you might score the goals. Calvert-Lewin's getting those little tap-ins in behind, but just in front of the goalkeeper. It's all about service. It's a service for Cenk Tosun, I think. If he doesn't get the service, he gets a little bit, I'm not getting the ball, and gets a bit shoulders drop. And it's the same with a lot of strikers, but I think Tosun should hopefully be okay. But is he playing up front on his own? Is he playing as a two? We don't, until the team comes out, we don't know the formation and the shape. But I think Cenk Tosun should go out there today and just say, right, I'm going to give it the best shot. I'm going to show you what I can do. If he gets a service, we know he can score goals. We've seen the goals he can score. Yeah. You just got to do it on the pitch for us now.
Yeah, I mean, there's plenty of players missing today. Ancelotti said it was through injury. It could well be that players are getting a rest because of the packed festive fixture list. Robin Olsen's going to be in goal today. He started a few Premier League games this season. Have you been impressed by him?
He's only had a couple of games, not seen much of him. He's an experienced keeper. He seems to be okay. He seems to know what he's doing. And I think he won't affect the scoreline today unless he makes a complete hash of something. But the back four, for me, is the important part today. If we can keep the back four and get the back four right, I don't know what the team is, but I always say, and Howard always says the same, you work from the back and you get the back right and you go forward. You look at all the best teams who've ever played football, they've had a good back line. They keep the goals out, they've got chances of winning games by scoring more. And we've been a bit shaky at times at the back in certain elements over the last 2 or 3 seasons. But I just see today, I'm looking at that pitch now and I want to get out there. I want to go and walk on it. And is that the team?
Yeah, that's the team, just to distract you for a minute.
No, it's not that. I can just see 2 pictures.
Well, the team's coming up now. So Everton versus Rotherham kick-off at 12 o'clock here at Goodison Park. In goal, Robin Olsen gets his chance in ahead of Jordan Pickford, who is rested. Michael Keane continues at the back. What a season he's had. Luca Dean in at left back from injury. Love to see him back. Cheng Tosun, as we were just discussing, will lead the line for the Blues. Alex Iwobi missed out on the squad entirely against West Ham. He's back in the lineup today, and that is a big smile from James Rodriguez. He's back in the starting lineup.
Gomez starts.
Andre Gomez, that's his 50th start in all competitions for Everton. And Ben Godfrey will also continue. He's been in great form.
Oh, there's the back four then.
And there it is, Coleman in at right back. Like Godfrey's going to be a centre back today. Youngster Anthony Gordon gets a chance to start. Richarlison out through injury today, and Tom Davis completes that 11. And there's the Everton substitutes bench. So a good few options on the bench there, and Decore, Sigurdsson, Bernard, and the young lad who does well for the academy, Ellis Sims.
Yeah, that's it. You look at that team, it's probably the strongest team we could have played. You got Sigurdsson on the bench and Decore, but they'll have a nice little rest. But it's probably the strongest team we could have played today against a team that will not fear coming here, but will enjoy it. But we are the Premier League side, so I'm glad to see that Michael Keane and Ben Godfrey can play together, because that could be the long-term partnership for the club, I think, because Godfrey's been outstanding. So I think it'd be Godfrey and Keane at centre halves, Coleman at right back, Dean at left back, Davis and Gomez holding that midfield too. Will he push Gordon a bit higher up alongside St. Tosun? We'll have to wait and see, but that's probably the strongest side we could have played. I expect us to go there and start on the front foot now. Now I've seen that side, I think we've got an exceptionally good chance today. I know it's at home, I know it's a strange atmosphere, but we are the home side, we are the Premier League side, and for me, it's the FA Cup, and I do love the FA Cup.
Yeah. So Michael Keane's obviously starting again at centre back. Ben Godfrey, we've seen him play right across that back line, left back mostly as of late. He's got a chance to play at centre back today. Do you think he'll be happy that he's finally getting a chance to play centre back?
I think he's just delighted he's playing football. He's really impressed me when he's come in, especially that left back row, and it's an unnatural position for him. I do know he has played in midfield for Shrewsbury. He was on loan at Shrewsbury a few years ago, so he can play football. We can see that, and I think Keane and Godfrey could be the long-term answer for Everton. I think the two of them have got a lot of confidence in each other, a lot of confidence in themselves, and if they work well today, we could, over the course of time, see that being a regular partnership for me. Yeah,
so the back line, it's changed so much this season. In your day, was that a bit off-putting to see that back line get changed?
Well, it didn't. It didn't. When I came here in the early 80s, it was a different line altogether. But when we got on the side, and I got on the side in November '83, it didn't really change. It was Gary Stevens, myself, Kevin Ratcliffe, and then at the time John Bailey, and that didn't change. Alan Harper came in when he was needed, which he did anywhere he could, because he was just a great versatile player. And then when Van den Auwe arrived, Pat arrived, he took over John Bailey's place. We never changed. It stayed the same. We had the big Nev behind us, filling the goal and shouting at us all the time, but it never changed.
And that was a good thing, though, right? Because that's my point. Is surely the chopping and the changing.
Yeah, it's not just that. It's today. Look along our back line, virtually everyone speaks English. You know, when we played, we all spoke the same language. Nowadays, you're bringing players from foreign countries who don't talk English. Yeah. And when you're trying to stand a bait like man on or time, it's not in English. You don't know what's going on. So I think sometimes players are a bit unsure because they don't understand the lingo, the language. You know, but our back four today is experienced. Yeah. It's got a language, no language barriers, and if you keep the same back four, you look at the best. I said before, look at the best sides over the years. You look at Everton in the 80s, Liverpool in the 80s, Man United under Ferguson. He built the back line and didn't change the back line. For the first time, it was Neville, it was Stam, it was Johnson, it was Erwin. Before that, it was Palliser and Bruce. They never changed the back four. The back four is important, because if you're not conceding goals, you can go the other end and score more. But once you concede one, you've got to get two to win the game, and it's more difficult. So the best clubs always have a solid back line and build from there and keep the clean sheets, and then you can go forward and start winning more games. And we've had lots of spells over the years where we haven't done that well enough. But once you start keeping the clean sheets and not giving things away too easy at the back, it's far easier at the front to score the goal. So I think he's got the back four, probably the strongest one we could have played today. Yeah. And I think long term, I said before, that the Keane and Godfrey could be a long-term answer for us, because I think they both are young enough to develop a good understanding that could go on for many years.
Yeah, definitely. Well, fingers crossed that does happen. Well, kick-off is at 12 o'clock. The team news is in. You may well remember just a few years ago we played Rotherham here in the Cup. This is how we got on against them.
Well, it remains a competition that Everton have never won. The two sides' last meeting was in fact in this competition, back in October of 1992. For Sandro to chase, he's got there courtesy of a touch from Robertson. Into Kieran Dowell. Back for Sandro, can he get a shot in on goal? He can, it's deflected and put in! And Gylfi Sigurdsson has got the vital touch, the one that diverted it beyond goalkeeper Lewis Price. Holgate. Davis. Replay by Everton. Series of first-time passes, eventually cut out by Ajay. Taken from him though, here's Sigurdsson. Now Davis. Shot saved by Lewis Price. What a moment that would have been for Tom Davis, wearing the captain's armband. He would love to get on the score sheet tonight. Might just fancy another here. He does, but it's into the wall. Here's Digne. The right-footed dink towards the far post gives Everton a second, because Calvert-Lewin was always going to head that ball home. Rotherham's corner, and they are back in it. It's been glanced home by Will Volks, his second goal of the season. Now, can Everton get that two-goal lead restored? They certainly can. Wow, wow, wow. Dominic Calvert-Lewin finishes in fine style. What a response. That's the way to do it. Full time, Everton have progressed to the third round of this League Cup competition. Everton 3, Rotherham 1.
There we have it. So that is what happened the last time Everton met Rotherham United, and we'll be hoping for a victory as well and a great cup run. Derek, 84 FA Cup winner. As an Evertonian, what was that like for you?
Pinch myself moment. I'd only been in the first team since November, so I'd only played 30 league games, if that, and all of a sudden I'm walking up the steps, up the steps at Wembley to pick an FA Cup up. It was a surreal moment for me, but one I look back with incredibly fond memories, because 5 years earlier I was leaving school, and I was still on the terraces when I was at Tranmere coming over. We played Friday night at Tranmere, so I could come here on a Saturday and watch Everton still. So all of a sudden I gave his season up with Everton, the end of the 82 season when I joined Everton, and all of a sudden 2 years later I'm lifting a trophy up, which some of the people I watched on the terraces never had a chance to do. The likes of Mick Lyons and Bob Latchford, Martin Dobson, Dave Thomas, never picked a trophy up in their careers, and all of a sudden there's me, within 2 years of joining the club, within 6 months of being in the first team, lifting an FA Cup, which for me was absolutely surreal. And I remember the day very well. I do now, I didn't at the time, since looking back
It's
at it.
It's all a bit of a haze, was it?
It just flies by. You know, what the biggest issue is, once you win the semi-final, you can't wait for the game to be played, because there's so much for you to do between that. You've got to get your suits, and there's the cup final songs, and there's interviews, and
the
there's
songs,
this,
yeah.
and there's that, and the other, and there's the ticket situation. And in the end, you're pleased to play football, because there's so much gets in the way before the game. But I remember opening the door, loads of lads screaming down the corridor that Freddie Starr was outside the hotel, and Freddie Starr was outside running around doing a madcap thing. So we're all hanging out the window laughing at him, and then you get all of a sudden you're on the bus, you're on the way to Wembley, and there's thousands and thousands and thousands of fans there. You don't know where they come from sometimes. There's that many fans,
and you being one as well, of
course.
course.
Yeah, I remember seeing my mate at the side of the bus, and just saying to him, "What are you doing here?" I'm thinking, "You stupid sod, I know what you're doing here," because I gave you your ticket.
Brilliant.
It's just brilliant. And then you get into Wembley itself, and they shut the old big double wooden doors, and it's total silence. And then you walk up the slope onto the pitch, and You know, you go back to your warm-up, come back here, and you get your knock at 2:45, and you walk up, and you can't see the ground. All you can see from the tunnel is it's like that. It was like the old tunnel was like that, and you could see the sky.
Oh wow!
As it came up, you started to see the ground and ground and ground. All of a sudden, the hit, and someone just get the volume and goes wallop. And the noise was. I just remember the noise being of 100,000 people just suddenly screaming.
Incredible.
And then we didn't start well, but we got the result, and we were the better team on the day, and it was a start of what was going to be 3 or 4 great years for the club, and something I'm very proud to be part of. But that day was just unique. It was my first ever major trophy in football, and I didn't think I'd do it ever again, or get to a place like that ever again. But it just shows how strange football can be.
It does, and you did go on to win many other things with Everton, an absolute legend, and it's great to have you with us here today. And somebody else who would be absolutely so eager to get to relive what Derek Mountfield has and walking out to Wembley will be Robert Olsen, who has got a big challenge ahead of him today as we face Rotherham United. Here's how he's settling in with Everton.
It's been a really great start to the season for Everton. What are your hopes when you see the strength of the players in that dressing room?
Yeah, I came after a few games they've played, and when I come here, you see, I came to a team with full of confidence at that moment, and afterwards we had a little dip, but we bounced back very good, and like I said, you can feel the confidence, and we have the spirit in the team, and also in the games I have played, you can feel that everybody is working really, really hard together and for each other. So it's a great team to play for.
For those who don't know, tell us how your move to Everton came about.
It was in the end of the transfer window, like everybody knows, and I went to the national team, and I got a call from my agent who said that I need to prepare to move to Everton. So after that, it was some stressed hours in the end, but I was really happy to sign the contract, and then after the national team, come to the club and meet all the people here.
What's it like trying to settle into a new club during a pandemic?
Yeah, it's special because we don't have the same locker room, all the players. So the first day was like I hadn't seen all the dressing room yet, so it was fun to meet all the boys just before we went out to the pitch. Also the coaches and everything. Yeah. But overall, it has been really easy to be a part of the team. Nice guys who took care of me directly since day one.
Yeah, Robert Olsen there, new goalkeeper at Everton, settling well to life at Everton. But on goalkeepers, they don't get any better than the man that played behind you for your Everton career, do they? Neville Southall.
Any better?
Larger than life on and off the pitch, wasn't he?
Any better, any madder. Yeah, Nev was unique. When I first came to the club, it was him and Jim Arnold, and Howard couldn't work out which keeper was the best one, so he'd have Jim in for 3 or 4 games, then Neville in for a couple, and then Jim. And well, I remember coming here in '82 and we got beat 5-0 by Liverpool, and Neville played in goal, and I thought that might have been the end of it. Jim came in straight afterwards, and maybe Everton debut in front of Jim Arnold. So, but in the next 8 months, Neville made enough impression on Howard to stick with him, and what a goalkeeper. No matter what we did, whether the right thing or the wrong thing, he'd have a go at us. He kept us on our toes. But when they got past us, didn't get past Ned very often. He was outstanding. He made easy, simple saves look hard.
Yes.
But the hard saves he made look simple. He made some great saves, and everyone talks about the one at Tottenham when we won 2-0 down there, or 2-1 down there. But he made a save against Sheffield Wednesday away, which was magnificent. He had another one in the same game. He was just an outstanding character. Great goalkeeper. Different, unique. There's only one Neville Southall, and that's true. There's only one Neville Southall. Still now rips the backside off people all the time, but great fella, great goalkeeper.
Brilliant, the greatest ever. We absolutely adore Neville Southall here. Now, we've had some great stuff on social this week, a new feature, I'm a big fan of it. Here's Alex Iwobi and Michael Keane taking on Social Recall. Check it out.
Oh my days, the shades,
the suit. You look better then than you ever do now.
What are you on about? Look at them shades on, no.
Yeah, so this is my first tweet. Nice selfie. What year was it? 2017. Thought I'd obviously get involved, and to be fair, I've not used it too much since, but just jumped on the bandwagon really.
You joined with a selfie.
Had to be done. Yeah, I was going up with Burnley.
Wait, is that you behind with your mouth open?
Where's the champagne?
Use that one at the top of it. Like you got champagne in his eye.
Yeah, Andre Gray.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Cool guy to be fair.
Yeah, he's class. Yeah. Oh, that's me and my twin brother Will. Yeah, our debut shirts for United. We were both 18, and we got them for our birthday, I think it was, or maybe Christmas. Yeah, they're still up in my house. Special times. Yeah, it was really good playing with Will. Obviously, we grew up together, played football with each other ever since we were little kids. So it was just natural, really, to
Oh, he's centre back.
No, he's a striker.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. Just do 1v1s and that in the garden.
So,
we didn't really. No, we used to go to the field, play with all our mates, Wembley and stuff like that. Yeah. But to play with him at United was special, and you never know, one day maybe I'll get a chance to play with him again.
How
old are you there?
I can't even tell you how old I was. Probably like 4 or 5. I think we lost the tournament.
Oh, you were disappointed, to be fair.
Yeah, disappointed. But I put it as mood because we were in lockdown, and that was my mood through lockdown. I could not leave my yard, so that was my mood through lockdown. That was when I first found out I was going on trial with Arsenal.
Really? When that young?
Yeah, I was like 6.
Oh, yeah.
Went to my local park, had to do a shoot. Didn't cream my knees. My shoes are too big. Yeah, they look dry, bro. My mum gave me a haircut. Yeah, that
pretty
picture.
Good trim, actually.
Do you know what? She was
get it back.
Nah, bro, hell no. I ain't cutting this off for a long time.
So you can see that full video on Everton's YouTube channel if you just search Social Recall. So Derek, we've just seen Alex Iwobi and Michael Keane there. We talked about him a bit before at the start of the show. Michael Keane, how much better can he get? He's been absolutely superb, hasn't he?
He's getting better every game. I think he came with a heavy price tag or high price tag. Didn't settle in particularly early on, but then got a nasty injury with his foot, I believe, and had to wear a boot a couple of sizes too big for his foot because it was swollen. So for me, that's the medical staff not taking him out the situation and rested him, get it right. Went through a bit of poor performances, a bit of stick off the fans, but I think this season he's been outstanding. He's rightly back in the England squad. Long term Everton captain, you never know, he could be. But I'm very, very impressed with him, and I just hope he can continue to develop and learn. He's learning. Obviously going to learn off Ancelotti every game, every time he trains with him. But he can big influence on Ben Godfrey over the coming seasons if they play a lot together. And I do think they could be the long-term partnership at the back for the Blues.
Do you think he'll be an influence on Godfrey's game then? Like,
yeah, they do.
Try and
Talking, organisation, just little things all the time, just constant reminders of where you are on the pitch, who's over your shoulder, what's over there, what's there. And I think Michael Keane has come on leaps and bounds. I think he's overturned a lot of the fans who... There was a lot of negativity in the first game, and I think he didn't start well and he got a bit more, but I think he's turned most of the fans round. There's still one or two that will always be dissented because they don't like certain people, but I think he's turned himself into a very, very clever player for Everton, a very classy player as well.
Yeah, well, if you were on social media earlier this week, you would have seen the trailer for the film Howard's Way. If you've not seen it yet, here it is.
Right, Bowles, leave you to it. Can I chin him now? No. Can I chin him?
There's something unique about Everton. The history grabs you.
The great Mr. Peter Reid.
Once it grabs you, it never leaves you.
Bit emotional, to say the least.
Howard Kendall was introduced as Everton's new manager.
Everton Football Club demands success.
Sharp! What a fantastic goal!
bid you a very warm welcome to our Cup Final special.
The 1984 FA Cup final shirt, and believe it or not, I did fit into that once.
Thank you, Juggler.
Their first major trophy for 14 years.
Loved it with bits, Howard, and my goodness, you got it right in spectacular style.
I'd have run through a brick wall for him.
This is the original Cannon League trophy.
Come on, lads.
And by God, be sure them we can play on it.
Together.
You chased Maradona for 50 metres.
We were the best side in Europe by far, and we'd have been the best side in Europe by far for the next 5 years, I think.
Well, a great film about a great manager. What was it like working under Howard Kendall?
Different at times. We had our ups and downs, our arguments, our fights. But Howard was the man that saw me playing at Tranmere and took a punt on me at the age of 19, and I'll never ever thank him enough for it, because he gave me the chance to sign for Everton and then to play for this great football club, and as I said, the rest is history. Just having a piece of paper saying his sign was enough for me. But great man, could be very hard, very ruthless, but his understanding of team spirit and how the players work well together, and the blend of players, the players we got together were just a superb group of players that worked so well together, and the history is there to see, and the way we played, the way we gelled together was just unbelievable.
Yeah, you must feel very honoured to have a film made about your team, basically.
Well, it's when I first heard about it, it was just a pipe dream, and then I met Rob Sloman, the producer, and he said, "What have you got?" I said, "What do you mean? What have I got?" "Well, I've got all my medals and my shirts." "What else have you got?" "So I've got loads of boxes in my loft." "Can I have a look?" he said. I went, "If you want to." So we spent about 3 hours getting stuff out of my loft and going, "What's in here?" And he went, "I'll have that, keep that, keep that, keep no. And then the story goes that he comes down the house, he spent about 5 hours just talking away in front of the cameras, without the cameras. Then do the bit, I go into the loft, and what you don't see is you see me sitting on the loft, but I've got the cameraman squashed into the back of the wall and Rob under the eaves with his knees under his nose trying to keep his feet out the shot. And I found stuff I didn't know I had, which was surprising. I didn't know what I had in my loft, and he used a lot in the show, in the film, but everyone's got the stories, everyone's got the memories. I just happened to be in the right place at the right time with the medals and the shirts for him to use. But some of the stories that come out of it were just fantastic. I just watched the trailer there, and I'm looking at the lads, and we all look a lot older. There's a few bit less hair and a bit more weight on, but we're still a group of players. We've got a WhatsApp group going that's regular banter between us, from the Howard's Way film it was. But great to do it, really enjoyed it, and I just hope that we get the chance to get back together again and do. I know Rob wants to do a couple more screenings up here, and get as many back together, but I'd love to come back here as a whole group of players and walk onto the pitch in front of 50, 38, 40,000, whatever it is. It's fantastic to do it, really enjoyed it, and it brought back so many happy and positive memories.
I bet. Well, if you've not seen the film, you can get it on DVD from evertonfc.com if you want to look up more of that. Anyway, back to today's game against Rotherham. We caught up with Mason Holgate before today's game to see what he had to say about today's opposition.
I'm really over the moon because I missed the back end of last season as well, with a little niggle that I picked up, and I missed that part of it. So then I was really looking forward to coming back, and then to pick that up in pre-season and miss such a big part of this season was gutting for me. It was obviously easier to watch when the boys were doing well at the start of the year, but I'm over the moon to be back, and I can't wait to get back into the swing of things properly. The first few weeks, I don't think there's really much you can do. You can just pretty much wait around, because you can't really put too much weight through it or on crutches and stuff, so I was just kind of waiting for maybe the first month before I could start getting on light jogs and on the Ultra, which takes your body weight off, and in the pool and stuff like that. So the first month was probably the hardest because you just sat around with nothing to do. But after that, then you're quite busy and focused, and it goes quite quick after that. It's just the first period that doesn't really. The boys and the manager are always going to be around the injured boys. I think we've had a few more injuries since my injury, and I think like we're all the same to them. I think everybody, it's important to be around people because you kind of feel like you're a bit left out if you're injured because you're doing your own thing. But we've got a good set of lads here, and everybody gets around each other, so it makes it a lot easier. I think it's easy to see that you want to be back for a certain time and you might not be 100% right, and then you try and force it, and then something else might get injured or your injury just takes a step back. So there are a few people who said that to me, and thankfully that's what I did, and since I've been back I've been fine. I think this might be my 6th year here now, so this club's been a massive part of my life. I think since I pretty much turned 18, so I became an adult, I've always been here, so to be around that and then to go on and be able to captain the club was massive for me for that game. You've got to have a captain's meeting with the referees and the officials before the game, and then just leading the boys out and doing the toss and things like that, and then being the one who goes and speaks to the ref if you've got a problem and stuff like that. But I was quite comfortable doing it and I enjoyed it, so hopefully it won't be the last time.
Once again, Derek, another defender who's just kicked on this season. He had his injury issues at the beginning of the campaign at the end of last year. He'll be gutted to be missing out today, don't you think, Mason Holgate?
Possibly, yeah. But I think it's about rest and recovery people now. Mason came to the club as a youngster with high hopes and didn't really settle in. And I think the year he spent away at West Brom on loan was great for him. He's come back a different person, a different player, a more confident player. And I think he's done exceptionally well. Long term, will he be long term in the setup? We don't know. I still think that Godfrey Keane could be the long term, but Holgate could be the backup all the time because he can play like Godfrey along the back line. But no, I think he's done exceptionally well. He looks a different player in the last 18 months than what was here prior to that, and I think that's purely going away and having a season away from the club, working with a different manager, different voice, different type of tactics and training. I think that's helped him enormously.
Well, we saw under Duncan Ferguson, before Carlo Ancelotti came in, that he was playing in central midfield or defensive midfield. Do you reckon he could possibly play that position later on in his career?
You never know. He could do. He's one of those versatile players that could nip in there. Godfrey could do the same. Godfrey could probably play centre, holding midfield player. You don't know, but at the moment he's a defender first and foremost, and I think he's done exceptionally well this season when he's been in the side. And I said, if you'd seen him 2-3 years ago, you'd have gone, I'm not sure about Mason Holgate. He's not taking his chance. But I said, sometimes leaving, going away, fresh voice, fresh scenery, and he's come back from that spell at West Brom a far better player.
Yeah. Well, he's got a spot on the bench today. Godfrey and Keane start at centre back. One man who's back in the lineup today is James Rodriguez, and we had a chat with him before today's game.
James, un gran placer hablar contigo. Vamos a ver, ¿cuál es tu primera impresión de Inglaterra? Como tú llegaste en un momento un poco raro por no solamente Inglaterra, pero por el mundo, pero me imagino que Merseyside es un poco diferente que Madrid, ¿no?
Sí, es mucho. Es verdad que viene en una época que es ahora dura para todos porque no hay mucha gente en todo lo que es campos. Pero bueno, veo que es un sitio tranquilo, es un sitio que vive mucho el fútbol y que es de mucha pasión también. Entonces eso es lo que yo veo fuera y lo que yo no he vivido todos estos partidos, ¿no? Pero veo que toda esa gente apoya mucho y veo que son pero muy fans.
Y cuando tú viniste, como Yerry Mina ya estaba aquí, es tu compi de la selección también. ¿Hablaste con él antes de cómo es Everton? ¿Qué significa este club?
Sí, hablé con él antes, ¿no? Hablé con él, me ha dicho que es un gran club, que es un club que quiere ganar cosas y bueno, también porque estaba Carlo aquí, también pensé mucho eso también. Es un técnico que sabe cómo soy, que sabe cómo actúo dentro y fuera del campo, entonces eso fue un punto grande para que yo pudiera venir para acá.
Tú jugaste en muchos lados, como en tu país, en Madrid, en Francia, en Alemania también. ¿Cuál es la diferencia jugar el fútbol de la Premier?
Bueno, el fútbol de la Premier League veo que es un poco más físico que otros, ¿no? Hay gente que es fuerte, hay gente que es física, que buscan siempre el toque, busca siempre fricción también, y técnicamente también son buenos. Entonces es un fútbol rápido, es un fútbol intenso también. Entonces creo que esos son los puntos que yo veo, porque estuve en muchas ligas, ¿no? Pero aquí son más fuertes, son más físicos y quieren ir siempre al toque, ¿no? Entonces eso es lo que yo veo.
So James Rodriguez there, Everton player. I still don't get tired of saying that James Rodriguez is an Everton player, Degsy.
I call him James.
Your mate James.
Yeah, my mate James. No, he's a world-class player. For us to attract someone like him just shows the pull of Ancelotti.
Yeah.
He wouldn't have come here if it had been a Moyes or a Allardyce or a Silva. He's come because of Ancelotti, and it proves that the pull of the man. But what a footballer. On his day he can be outstanding. Just that he said there about it being a bit more physical in this country. Yeah, it is physical. Compared to abroad, it's a lot more physical. And he's got to adapt to that. He's going to get clattered. It's how he handles it. Can he get up and brush it off and do something even better next time he gets the ball? But his left foot's like a wand. But I kept watching Kevin Sheedy at times. Kevin Sheedy's left foot was a wand. He could do all sorts with his left foot, and he's the same. James is the same. He's great on the ball, puts some fantastic balls in, can score goals. And long term, if we can keep hold and keep him fit, what an acquisition for this club.
Oh, he is, and that's it, isn't it? About getting him as much game time as possible and staying fit. And you just mentioned Kevin Sheedy there as well. You know, you were the beneficiary of many lovely deliveries in from him with his left foot. And how good is that for players on the pitch? Because they must just know that when James is out there, if he gets the ball, he can pick a pass that nobody else will see, that nobody else can make. He can create space. How good is it for the other players in the team when you've got somebody with that much ability?
It's great, but the problem is they've got to get used to making the runs, because he'll put the ball in the area. Sheeds always says, free kicks, I just knew one of you would be in an area. I put the ball in the area, one of you to get it, whether it me, Sharpie or Andy Gray. He's the same. He'll put the ball in the area, he'll go, I didn't expect it, because sometimes our players aren't used to that sort of quality of ball. So it might take time for players to get used to making the runs, but if he keeps putting the balls in, and that's where Calvert-Lewin's improved this year, he's made the runs and he's reaped the benefit for the goals. But his ability on the ball is second on James. If he can score and produce as many goals as she's did for Everton, we'll be more than happy with that.
Definitely, and that squad of players will be absolutely elated to have him there, of course, as well. We can see this training video from the week as well, the likes of Alan in there, Decore, players who came in the summer and have done very well, adapted to life at Everton here fantastically well. We did have a brilliant summer, Derek, but where would you like to see Everton strengthen in January and going forward to the summer as well?
I think it's a continuous strengthening process. I think the best clubs years ago used to sign at least one or two players every season to strengthen the squad, and I think we've got a long way to go still. I think we might need another goal scorer. We can't rely on Calvert-Lewin all the time. We've got Moyes Keane out on loan, who's scoring goals for fun.
Flying, isn't
and
he?
He can't score here. Cenk Tosun doesn't look like he knows where the goal is at times. We maybe need another striker. Do we need a few more midfield players? Yeah. Do we need another wide man down the right? Is Seamus coming to the end of his tenure at the club? Yeah, he's been here 10 years, 12, 11 years now. So, but I'm sure the manager will be looking at every single opportunity to strengthen this squad. Goalkeeper picked for the long term, we don't know. Someone might come in for him. Every player in this club has a value on the head, what someone will pay for them. So we might lose players. If we do lose players, we'll use that money to bring another player in of equal or good standard or better. We don't want to let people go and bring in players of a weaker standard, which we have done in the past. We've got to bring players of an equally good standard, if not better. And that's the sign of a good manager. And I think Ancelotti's proven how good he is by breaking the mould this summer and saying, no, I don't want a youngster. I want some experience. In comes James, Decore and Allen, older than 27, 28, 29 instead of the 24, 22 we've been signing. And he's gone, no, I can't have I want more experience. And I think he's broken the mould a little bit there and said, this is what I want. And those three signings have been outstanding. I think Allen looks brilliant, so really does.
They do, and as you just said then, you know, Everton demands success, don't we? And, you know, I think what you get when you bring in players like that you know now are in their prime, are going to be able to maybe make that difference between Everton getting, say, Champions League football or not. And ultimately, that's where we need to be, isn't it? Back in the big leagues and up there again.
Yeah, we've got to be competing. We haven't competed well enough for years, and that's the thing. Other teams have come and competed. Leicester have come from nowhere to competed and won the league. Compete on a regular basis. I don't care if we finish 4th or 3rd. It means we're competing. Honestly, being up the top would be fantastic, but let's compete in these competitions, the FA Cup. Let's compete. Let's go all the way. Let's give the fans something to cheer about. Let's give the fans hopefully a trip to Wembley and see the team. It's all about competing, and I think we're a long way from competing properly, but we're right, and we're making that step now. We're going forward and higher, and I think that's a very, very promising step.
Definitely, and you know, in a cup final at Wembley again before too long, especially
Can I go?
I know, I was going to say, can we get you, how are your boots looking, Degsy? Can we get you and Kev Ratcliffe?
Well, the leather's a bit softer now, harder than it was. I had to get a bit of dubbing and a bit of polish and clean up a little bit, but no, let's just get to Wembley. Let me get to Wembley and watch my team at Wembley.
You know, I've spoken to you before because I'm privileged enough to know you, very privileged enough to know you, you know, aside from here as well, and you've spoken about the fact that you would actually prefer to see Everton win a trophy, like as much as you've won a trophy, an Evertonian, you've won trophies with Everton at Wembley, but you would almost prefer to do it as a supporter, is that right?
Yeah, as a fan, I've never seen Everton lift a trophy. I was about 7 in 69, 70. At Wembley in 95, I was doing FA coaching about, so went to Wembley. So I've never seen Everton lift a trophy in my fan's career as a fan, but I've been in, was it 6 major finals or Wembley 9 times with Everton or something, so and won trophy. I want to see Everton lift a trophy as a fan. I want to stand on the terraces at Wembley and sing my heart out, and then go out and stand outside Goodison Park and do the open top bus tour on the Sunday. It's something I've never done, but I have done as a player, but it's different as a fan. My mates experienced something I never experienced, but I did something they never did. So we balance off quite well, but I want to be a fan going to Wembley and watching my team lift a trophy.
You've still got time to do that, Derek.
I'm getting older.
Well, we have got some questions in for you, Degsy, from our supporters watching back home as well. Dom from Brighton wants to know who you roomed with.
Gary Stevens for a long time, and then Gary moved with England and picked up Trevor Steven.
Yeah.
And then it was whoever was free on the day, because some players had regular room partners, others didn't. I had Neville a few times, I had Harpin a few times, I had Gary Stevens, and well, it doesn't matter. Just give me a bed of a night time and sleep. I didn't need anything. Didn't have to talk to me, put to bed.
As long as you can get your head down, that's the one. Oh, Faz1878 wants to know who's the toughest striker that you faced.
Baz knows that. Hardest one I faced was Mick Harford. He could be cruel, nasty, vicious, leave his mark on you, as a semi-final at against Luton shows you. But as an out-and-out striker, the hardest player probably was Kenny Dalglish. He was just fantastic. He had a huge big backside, used very well. He had 2 good feet, and his partnership with Ian Rush was just absolutely incredible. But as a nasty player, hardest player was Mick Harford, but the cleverest and difficult was Kenny Dalglish.
Yeah, I can imagine, derbies as well. What a battle that is, Dalglish versus yourself and Kev Ratt.
Rat's had a bit of pace, so he could pick up Rushy. I didn't have much pace, so I had to try Kenny out. But no, those derby days was phenomenal. I used to love the derby days. Never ever got worried and anxious about a derby day. I just wanted to take part in it. People say they get worried playing derby matches. Never bothered me. It was another football match for me, and nothing better than playing a Merseyside derby either here at Goodison Park or over at Anfield. The atmosphere was always top notch.
That's the exact attitude we love. Nothing is greater than a Merseyside derby, is it, Derek? You're absolutely right there. Now, we have had some brilliant goals throughout December, and now is your chance to take another look at them. Goal of the month contenders. Here we go.
Ball finds Richarlison. Calvert-Lewin wants it, gets it, scores. Great football from Everton. The combination there of Richarlison and Calvert-Lewin works again for Everton. "21 minutes played. What can Gylfi Sigurdsson do here? Oh, he scores so calmly, so coolly, so composed, and Everton lead by a goal to nil in front of these wonderful Everton fans. Now across for Richarlison. Plenty forward for Everton here. Richarlison goes for goal and scores, as he so often does against Leicester. Richarlison gets the better of Schmeichel. To take once more for Everton. There's the flick from Keane, and Calvert-Lewin's hit the bar, and it's turned in by Mason Holgate. His first Premier League goal for Everton, and what a vital one it could be. Quarter of the game, and it's in. Everton have got in front. Yerry Mina rises to direct his header past Leno and into the nets to put Everton back in front. Sheffield United defending deep inside the penalty area. Sigurdsson to win it for Everton. Hopefully that is the case. He digs out a shot and gives Everton a precious lead.
Some great goals in there for you to vote for your December goal of the month. I can't believe Mason Holgate's goal against Leicester, where it was saved, it hit the bar, and then he tapped it in for a rebound. Can't believe that's up for goal of the month.
I know.
Anyway.
We'll have it.
He'll take it, definitely, won't he? So we've got about just over 15 minutes until kick-off. I always ask you for a prediction. I feel like... Do you want me to ask you for a prediction? I'm not a superstitious person.
We texted last time, didn't we, after the West Ham game that we won't talk about, and said we need to stop doing these predictions. But I'm going to give you one anyway, Rich.
Okay, go on.
I can't resist.
In fact, you know what? No, don't give me a score. Give me what you think the game will be like.
Okay, well,
there you go.
I like that.
We'll work around it.
I think, you know, obviously seeing Luca Dean back in the starting 11 is a massive thing. That's a real boost, and just knowing the quality that he can deliver for us down that left-hand side, the quality of balls into the box. Maybe Cenk Tosun, you know, might fancy a nice delivery. I don't think it'll be an easy game. Rotherham obviously is struggling in the Championship at the moment, and this will be a really big opportunity for them to give themselves something and their fans to be happy about. But I think we'll have enough. I think when you look at the quality we've got, and on the bench as well, hey, we're going to nearly get in there. They must have heard me saying that I thought that we were going to win, and they decided to start hoofing the balls at us. But no, I think it'll be an Everton victory today.
Yeah.
Just got to get through to that next round.
You'd hope so, wouldn't you?
You hope so.
But obviously there's a lot of new players in today. Gordon's got a chance to impress today. Do you reckon this could be his opportunity to, you know, put his stake in the ground for an opportunity in the first team in a league game, maybe?
I would love to see Anthony Gordon do something today, get a goal in that Gladys Street end. I mean, with no fans at the moment, it's difficult. You'd love, obviously, him to score in the Gladys Street with fans there. But at this point, I think, you know, just get him on the score sheet. Love to see him get his first senior Everton goal. And he's somebody that's got bags of talent, always looks like he's going to make things happen, lively. So, yeah, I think that left-hand side could be key for Everton today.
Yeah, so obviously it's the third round of the FA Cup, the first round that Everton are in. We make it all the way through the final and we win the competition, even though there's probably going to be no fans there. Still win the FA Cup, wouldn't you? You'd say that?
You know what, the way the world is at the moment in it, Rich, nobody knows what's going on. We're all struggling a little bit, and I think, you know, as much as you want fans to be there, let's win it this year, and then next year, you know, let's see, fans can hopefully be back at Wembley when we win it, and if they're not, we'll take it and we'll go again.
Yeah, it's definitely easier said than done.
Yeah, because I'm just like, Carlo Ancelotti's just going to win us all the trophies, but no, you know, obviously it's weird. Football is weird without fans right now. But, I mean, Everton to win a trophy, it's been long enough, and we all desperately want to see us win some silverware, don't we? Yeah. So it's a great opportunity for us.
Can I just ask you a quick question about the women's side as well?
Yes.
Start of the year, what do you reckon they'll be looking to do this year?
Yeah, I mean, it's difficult at the moment. Obviously, frustrating with games being cancelled at the moment as well. But I think the aim has to be to try and get that Champions League place. And, you know, Willie Kirk, as we spoke about in the previous show, signing that deal. Claire Emsley penning her future to the Toffees, you know. Big things are going to happen, I think, for both the men's and the women's side. So when that kicks off again, hopefully we'll push on and look to try and get into Europe as well.
Yeah, brilliant. Oh, well, fingers crossed for the women's team, and also fingers crossed for the men's team. Kickoff is around 15 minutes. Remember, if you go to the Everton website, evertonfc.com, you can get full live commentary on there. Well, that's it for Everton Live. We're going to be back later on in the month. I think Leicester's our next home game, isn't it? So
yes.
We shall see you then. To sign us off today, we're going to hear from Mr. Carlo Ancelotti. We'll see you soon.
The defeat against West Ham is gone. We thought about this, and now we are focused on this game. It's an important competition. We know how important is the FA Cup in England, and I don't know if it's more important the Premier League or the FA Cup, and so we want to start well this competition.
Having looked at Rotherham, what have you been able to learn about them?
Sorry?
Having looked at Rotherham, what have you been able to learn about them?
Strong team, tough team. It will be a physical game, I think, I'm sure, and they had problem in the championship, but I know that FA Cup is all different story. So in the FA Cup there were strange results that no one didn't expect. So we have to pay attention to this.
Have you heard how much their manager Paul Warner is looking forward to meeting you? He's read your book, and he describes you as the greatest, and he's going to be starstruck when he meets you.
I'm really pleased for this. I really welcome him. I would like to talk to him after the game, and so the fact that he read my book, he feel me happy.